This is Hkhs Sport bringing you that heat and that far. We keeping the foot on the what on the Knicks. We keeping the foot on the what on the Knicks. And like the Tibetan mastiff that I am, I'm applying what unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts its pipes. Let's talk about it, man. We have to ask ourselves these questions. And a prediction. And a prediction. Y'all gonna hear this all day, man. Hkhs Sport told you guys that when it was all said and done, that Teofimo Lopez, the super duper hype job variation, was what he was. Y'all sat here and y'all told Hkhs Sport, man, Vasiliy Lomachenko, man, we can't stand Vasiliy Lomachenko. We're adverse to him because he's supposedly the great white hope. Here's the problem, you Rudy Poo and Puff brains. Here's the problem, you classic Dolce and Trouble drinks. Here's the problem, you ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetorics. You see how the changing of the guard has messed everything up? Now you guys understand why Hkhs Sport never wanted Teofimo Lopez, the super duper hype job variation, to be in the position that he's in. Look at 135. Now Bob Arum is supposedly exposing him. It's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, See, this is why it pays off to be Nostradamus. This is why it pays off to be the guy that sits here and predicts the foretelling of events. The guy that isn't always seer mode fashion, and that's Hkhs Sport. That's bringing you that what? That heat and that far. And keeping the foot on the what? On the Knicks. And keeping the foot on the what? On the Knicks. The reason why it pays off to be this way is because you will always see things for what they are. You will always see things in its most cold-hearted. You will always see things in its most unadulterated, and you will always see things in its most cutthroat, truth-telling fashion. What was it? Hkhs Sport told you guys this from the jump, man. That when it was all said and done, that Teofimo Lopez was a super-duper hype job variation. Look how 135 has turned to shit overnight when the changing of the guards happened, when Vasiliy Lomachenko was bribed and robbed. Are you guys starting to put two and two together? At least when Vasiliy Lomachenko was there was an aura to where 135 looked like it meant something. There was a standard to 135. 135 gave you this element, it gave you this feeling, it gave you this similitude as if it was something like Transformers, more than meets the eyes. But what happened when the bribery and the robbery of a super duper hype job variation was given what he was given? It diluted the situation. It messed the situation up. It threw everything off of kilter. It threw everything out of whack. It screwed everything up to the point to where everything is not making any sense. This guy's fighting George Kambosos Jr. Vasiliy Lomachenko fought Teofimo Lopez. And Vasiliy Lomachenko had the option to fight George Kambosos Jr., but he opted for Teofimo Lopez instead. Why is Teofimo Lopez not fighting Devin Haney? Why is he not saying, you know what, this is a unification bout? This is a bout that trumps mandatories. Let's fight this fight. Why is he going after George Kambosos Jr.? Who the fuck is that? That's a tune-up, man. See, this is what Hkhs Sport was telling you guys. And you guys said Vasiliy Lomachenko is a ducker. Now, Vasiliy Lomachenko did duck Devin Haney. We're not going to sit here and act like that didn't happen. But we have to ask ourselves the underlying truth and the underlying undercurrent here. Devin Haney, what did he do after that infamous duck? He stayed in email championship form because he didn't fight Gary Russell Jr. He stayed capping like the little Devin Haney, capping ass Haney that he is, at his truest and his most properest levels. Because Devin Haney could have really put himself out there and really be that true boogeyman at 135. But we realize he's nothing but a chihuahua parking behind the damn fence. A second iteration or a second coming of the chihuahua parking behind the damn fence. And Terrence Buck Crawford, man. He's the Terrence Buck Crawford of 135. All bark and no fucking bite. Let me say it again. All bark and no fucking bite. But we have to ask ourselves these underlying truths. We have to ask ourselves these underlying undercurrents. And what are they? Teofimo Lopez is not what you guys thought that he was. And the prediction, King Strikes. And the prediction, King Strikes again. Enos Sport has always looked like Sun Tzu, aka Art of War. 7 steps ahead of the game. 48 laws of power on that ass, man. Because he told you guys this stuff. But you guys didn't want to accept the cold-hearted message. You guys didn't want to accept the unadulterated message. And you didn't want to accept the cutthroat two-teller fashion message. Now, that's why Bob Arum, the old car salesman, aka Shiesty motherfucker, he realized, I'm an old car salesman. I'm a shiesty motherfucker, but I made the wrong decision here. I was bribing and robbing Loma because I wanted to build this thing up. I wanted them to have basically a second fight, a third fight, a fourth fight. But where Bob Arum miscalculated was that the super duper hype job variation has a father in Teofimo Lopez Sr. that was basically the catalyst. That was basically the one that was going to turn things around. That was basically the one that he couldn't account for. But I could have told him this. If his old senile butt wanted to listen, Enos Sport would have told you that Teofimo Lopez Sr. wasn't going to play the part, man. He was going to switch code on you. He was going to turn code on you. Teofimo Lopez, on the other hand, he's not that bright. So he'll do whatever Bob Arum tells him to do. Let me say it again. Teofimo Lopez on his end is not that bright. So he'll do whatever Bob Arum tells him to do. But not Teofimo Lopez Sr., not his father. Because his father's on some other shit, man. His father's on some, nah, we got the belt now. Now we can officially duck. Now we can officially take the WBC French fry belt until the next level. Did Vasiliy Lomachenko duck? Yes. Did he have some ducking moments? Yes. But what are we seeing from the super duper hype job variation? A DuckTales. A DuckTales. There's a stranger out to find you. There's a stranger out to find you. What to do is grab on you some DuckTales. Woo! We're seeing DuckTales after DuckTales after DuckTales with the super duper hype job variation. Now you guys get why he's called a super. Now you get why he's called a duper. Now you get why he's called a hype job. Now you get why he's called a variation. Because like Maya Angelou told you the first time, when a person shows you who they are the first time, believe them. You gotta believe the great Maya Angelou when she said that quote, man. I told you guys this guy was a super duper hype job variation. A lot of people say, man, he knows the sport, man. You going to the extreme, man. You going extra. But that's what unlimited pressure is all about, man. Because pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Pressure is supposed to reveal things to you, dog. It's like Nightshade. You know how Bushmaster and them said, Nightshade will reveal. Let me say it again. Nightshade will reveal. Just like Nightshade will reveal, unlimited pressure will reveal. And it reveals what's fake and what's real. What's fake bravado and what's real bravado. Enos Sport was on to Teofimo Lopez because I could see in Enos Sport discernment fashion, man, that this guy right here was nothing but fake bravado of a super duper hype job variation. You got a unification bout that you could fight with Devin Haney. Undisputed for all of the fucking belts. Undisputed, man. And you're gonna let that go to the wayside over George Kambosos Jr.? It's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, You see? This is why it always pays off to be on the Enos Sport side of things, man. To be on the Enos Sport's curve. To be on the Enos Sport thumb. And to be on the Enos Sport needle of the damn situation. Because Enos Sport is not going to tell you something that you want to hear. He's going to tell you what you need to hear. And what you didn't want to hear, but what you really did needed to hear, was the fact that Teofimo Lopez was a super duper hype job variation. So what's not cold-hearted about that? What's not unadulterated about that? And what's not the cutthroat two-teller fashion that's associated with that? Once a super duper hype job variation, always a super duper hype job variation. This guy right here is a joke. At least when Vasiliy Lomachenko had the belt, 135 had a prestige to it. Y'all can't tell me y'all didn't see that. And if you didn't, you're a Rudy Poo and a Plum Plum Plum. You're a classic Dodo and a Troco. You're an ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. All of these people that were bias over logic, because over here it's logic over bias. that didn't want Vasiliy Lomachenko to win because he was supposedly a great white hope, because he was supposedly compared to Floyd Mayweather. Look at what Teofimo Lopez is doing right now at 135. Don't you want the changing of the guard to go back to what it was? And if you don't, I can't help your brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo head self. See, when it's all said and done, he knows his sport, whether if it's in the present, whether if it's delayed, or whether if it's something that happens just a little after he says it. What you guys tend to find out is that just like Nostradamus, Hnos Sport has a over 90 percentile ratio of getting the Prediction King fashion artist correct. And I told you guys, this guy right here was a super duper hype job variation. And once a super duper hype job, always a super duper hype job. Look at what this guy's turned 135 into. Literal shit. Outside of Gervonta Tank Davis, 135 is shit, man. Because you got a guy that's supposedly leading the helm, and he's not doing heavyweight lifting. He's rather doing super duper hype job variation material. This is Hnos Sport. Check it out.